Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
I said, so don't worry about it.
Okay, so don't worry about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
But yeah, it could have been done better, and they had a whole series apparently initially planned around this, and then it got boiled down to this. Like, one thing you got to remember at the end of when you see her in Discovery, there's like this ship, and you don't get to see that ship that you saw.
Yep.
It's something else, and now she's like at the edge of the lawful space.
Yeah,
with her
she's right at the edge of the
nightclub,
Alpha Quadrant kind of thing.
like a Goomba.
Like running a bar.
Yeah.
Right, trying to hide out. She's like a little bit of an illicit crime lord and all this other stuff.
I'd say it's very much they took like a generic heist and MacGuffin and twist. The guy's not really dead. Sorry, I'm not really spoiling anything.
Really
We're spoiling it.
Yeah.
It's
been out for a couple of weeks now. It was, if it had been more impressive, I would have been like, "Ooh, Sean, spoilers!" But no, it was not impressive. So whatever.
I brought up my spear splashing Sonic 3.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Sonic movies.
Oh, they're great. They're fun. They're funny. They're like almost like a family-oriented Family Guy in the way they produce some of the humor in that. There. Yeah. And the Knuckles series is good watching too.
I've heard that, and I've heard. I mean, obviously, I've heard the Sonic movies are really good too.
Yeah.
I kind of lost interest in that subgenre of movie after what was it, Detective Pikachu or whatever. I actually went and saw that, expecting a hell of a lot more, and it was like,
Yeah.
Well, I went and mainly see it because Ryan Reynolds.
He was Pikachu.
He was Pikachu.
He's the Pikachu.
He was Pika.
There's like controversial news out now. Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, about like was it the whole he said she said and the whole Blake Lively thing that's going on with like.
What are you talking about?
Well, apparently this guy that there's like this problem with like him and Blake Lively in this movie they worked on and
I have heard that. Yep,
that's the guy that apparently Nice Pool's based on. The guy's claiming and stuff like that because he's claiming it's satirizing him and there's words of an affair now. And just like I don't know.
God, somebody
it gets my
trying
mind
to cash
off of
in.
the other things that are going on in life, so I'll look at that a little bit.
Yeah. That's just somebody trying to cash in. That's like
Well,
that.
got a website up now, apparently transcripts.
Oh, for the love of God.
Uh-huh.
Man, like seriously, like Hollywood backstage Hollywood drama, behind the scenes drama is absolute garbage. There are days when I'm just like, I wish we never had social media.
Yeah.
I wish Zuck had kept it in his pants back when he was in university. Because if you don't know the history of Facebook, that's exactly what it was created for, was to rate girls when Mark Zuckerberg was in university. So don't come at me saying, "Oh, you're being a pig about that, Jeff." Blah, blah, blah. That's what it was created for. Do your research. But it kind of makes me wish that Zuck had just left stuff alone, and instead he created what's the modern social media monster that it is. It's anyway. Between
Monopolist.
that and Twitter and everything else, it's all just overwhelming. Somebody had posted on Blue Sky. Somebody I follow had posted on Blue Sky today. All scrolling is now doom scrolling. True. And if you don't know what doom scrolling is when your feed is completely filled with negative stuff and you just keep scrolling. And it's just an onslaught of negative stuff. And man, this week there has been no lack of it. No lack of the negative stuff. Now, we tend to stay away from politics as much as we can.
Yeah.
But I think the events of this past week is going to have an impact on entertainment and geekdom. I really, really do. I think what's happening right now in...
A lot of American shows are made up here.
A lot of American shows are made up here.
Watched a movie today that was made right here in this province. It's an American movie. Raven, with Jason Momoa.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Like the drug dealers got him at the cabin.
Yep.
Him and his dad, who's getting Alzheimer's or something like that. And you can see he's all shot up at the West Coast a little bit.
Really? Yeah, that's kind of cool.
It was funny. It's funny that the cars had Washington plates, like when they're like not spoiled too much, but there's a thing at the cabin, the vehicles are around the bad guys and good guys. They're taking shelter behind the vehicles. You see the Washington State plates, but then you see like Hickman Motors or the symbol for one I recognize is Woodward GM from Labrador, because it's
Nice.
Labrador with like you can tell the GM logo.
Yeah.
And that's for Hickman's up. That's for Woodward's up in Goose Bay.
Nice.
Says Goose Bay truck.
Nice. That's very, very cool.
Only place you're going to get the truck was like I think a 92 or 91 GMC, so that's probably the only place you're going to get one that's not rusted out in this province, anyways.
Yeah.
But like I watched, it was like, oh, I know that place. I think one of the houses was here in Cornbrook.
Could have been.
Looks like it.
Could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, Newfoundland for that
We just turned up our telefilm fun too.
wilderness feel
Yeah.
has become very popular.
It's very Appalachian.
What is going on with my cord? Yeah, it's become very popular for Hollywood to call. I mean, look, like even the new Peter Pan movie that came out, what was that last year? Year before? 2 years ago?
Because in 2020 they were filming around there. 'Cause
Right.
me and Miss were actually out for vacation and out in St. John's around Memorial Day.
Right.
And they were posting from in the city Mila Jovovich and her daughter.
And her
who's in
daughter.
the film.
Yeah. Right, and Mila Jovovich fell in love with the province, right? Like she recommends, she was posting on Instagram and Twitter and everything else. You have to go to this. You have to go to this place. You have to go see it. The new season of Reacher,
20th of February.
right? Filmed in St. John's.
Doubling his main.
Right, doubling his main, right? So, and not to mention like all the great Canadian content that's created here in the province. We got Son of a Critch. We've got
Hudson Rex.
Hudson and Rex. Republic Doyle was filmed here. Saint Pierre is filmed as in Saint Pierre, but it's based on everything around it is Newfoundland based, right?
They
Like
probably do some studio work here in province.
I would say they do. I mean, so there's tons of shows created right here in Newfoundland for Canadian content. Speaking of Canadian content, I sat down and started watching North by North or North of North.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap, that show was funny.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
It's kind of what I grew up around, and so not as isolated as up there, but
Oh yeah.
that's like getting up there.
Definitely, it's definitely worth your half hour, whatever it is, 20 minutes to
You
watch.
watch it on Gem.
You watch it on Gem, yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
you
it's
get it
on
for free. You
APTN
get
if
the
you have
ads.
APTN.
As what? On
I never
APTN.
got any ads.
You never got any ads?
We were using the browser. Same thing with Amazon
okay.
Prime. uBlock works on it. I guess I don't get any ads.
Yeah. See, I again, we talked about this last week. I don't have a computer I can connect to my TV.
Yeah,
so.
I was just like, I didn't notice that until you said it. I was like, oh, I don't get any ads.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, it's pretty funny. And and she and her daddy and her mom and all that.
Wild.
The little kid's grandma is not a usual grandma.
No,
Although-
she is definitely not the typical nanny. Definitely not the typical nan. So it's great though. I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in it that, as a Canadian, I can relate to, but was really new to me because it's it goes into a lot of like the Inuk culture. It is Inuk, right?
Inuit culture.
Inuit culture.
Did you watch all of them?
I haven't seen the most recent one. I haven't seen this week's.
You're going when you see that there's the ball game in there. I played it, but we didn't use that bat. I'll just leave it at that. It's not spoiling.
Okay.
But you'll get what I said when you see it.
Okay. And like they were playing traditional games and stuff like that. And there was what was it? The bum hopper champion. Is that what that's called? Bum hopping.
Yeah.
that was great. That was so great.
We have Northern Games up home with Labrador Winter Games, and a lot of it's like the high kick and things like that.
Yeah.
If you get AP10, I think you can do it online. And they do their own Northern Games, same thing. You just stand in one spot, and guys are kicking like 9 feet up in the air.
That's insane.
On one foot, landing on the same foot they kicked with.
That's crazy.
Jump, kick, land on the same foot. All 1 foot.
Wow. That's amazing. It does come with a character, though, that I absolutely do not like, and that's her husband, Ting. He's a narcissistic.
Well, he's Mr.
Idiot.
Big Guy in town, right?
he's a
The Golden Boy's a
jackass.
pilot.
I hate him.
Handsome and all this. You meant to, I think.
But not just hate, like just the way he talks to her
Yeah.
in the show. I'm
Yeah.
like, I hate you.
I don't think he's meant to be sympathetic.
No, not a bit.
No.
Not a. Like he looked like they go on a hunt.
Yeah.
Right, and he looks at her and is like, "You're like." He actually says to her, "You're useless," and I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, dude, no, you do not say that to your partner."
Nope.
Right. So anyway, the show is good. It's hilarious. It's filled with a lot of sight gags, a lot of physical comedy, just perfect direct. I love it. I'm putting it up there with Son of a Critch.
who's the town manager, the blonde lady.
Yep.
She's from It's Always Sunny.
And she's been in a ton of stuff, too. A lot. She was on 24, I think, one of the seasons of 24. She's American, yeah. Hopefully that she doesn't have to go back to America.
Yeah. There's another one we watched this week. Another show. Oh, Harley Quinn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm still not on the new season, which is too bad because I really got to be.
Oh, it's great.
I actually had access to Creature Commandos, and I lost the link, so I got to go back and get it.
Watched the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man as well.
Oh, yes! What do you think?
I like it.
I really
It's
liked
like
it.
an alternate comic take is what it is.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like the MCU, which is good.
Not a bit.
But it's a universe being lived in because Doctor Strange is there.
Yeah, and he actually says, and okay, so let's break this down a little bit. So, in the start of this series, Ben is gone. Ben had died, but Peter hadn't received his his spider powers yet. He actually gets bit by the spider that comes through the dimensional portal where Doctor Strange comes through, chasing what looks to be an awful lot like a Venom symbiote.
I think it may be a symbiote, but yeah.
It looked an awful lot like one. So that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. Sony's actually involved because Marvel/Disney has the right to make anything under half an hour Spider-Man-wise without Sony's involvement.
Right.
So,
yeah. So what'd you think? What'd you think about the?
It's very fun.
First 2 episodes. I loved it.
you see some faces pop up, like all the kids in his class.
Yep.
You know who they are.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah. So, a future Hulk.
Well, Amadeus Cho.
Yeah.
Hulk.
Taskmaster's daughter.
Who's that? Which one
The
was
short
that?
hair girl? Her dad's Taskmaster.
Oh, I did not. Okay, so the name sounded familiar, but I didn't make the connection. Okay, good enough. So there we
Her
go.
daddy's Taskmaster. The comic book Taskmaster, not the MCU one.
Yeah.
I think they're. And the other girl's Wakandan, of course.
Wakandan. And Kurt Connors is Carla Connors in this series. I thought that was
they're
neat.
just what before the feature films.
Yep. Yeah. So a lot of people were online saying, "Oh, they shouldn't have done that to Kurt Connors." I'm like, who cares?
They did Dr. Octopus. Y'all loved it.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
And she was canonical. She was canonical now.
Who
The octopus,
Lady Octopus? Yeah.
Yeah, she was already canonical.
Yeah.
I liked it though. I liked the pacing.
Yep.
It kind of felt like the movie version in a way, but remixed.
Yes. The art style really reminded me. It had a bit of a Jack Kirby kind of feel to it, and I was like, "That's like."
It looks like somebody inked it with a brush.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Like the series
John
looks
Romita.
so nice. Yeah, a little bit of John Romita, a little bit of a cross. Yeah, John Romita, Jack Kirby-ish.
Yeah.
You know, but still with that nice refined 3D animation kind of thing. It's just digital animation. Sorry, not 3D animation. Digital animation.
Yeah.
It just looked really good. May Parker is the younger version of May Parker that Marissa Tomei played. Norman Osborn. Surprise, surprise! Is a black man in this series. And so is obviously so is Harry.
But
and
when you look at that hair back in the day, he probably should have been.
Should have been.
They were probably, we can't do it. It's, too early.
Yeah, but he's so evil. Like he just exudes evil, right? Everything about that, like he's on screen for all of 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh, you're despicable.
But you meet his kid too, and his kid seems like real nice.
Yeah.
Although it'd be cool if he wouldn't be a Green Goblin at first, but Hobgoblin.
Yes.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Make him a Hobgoblin.
Yeah. We haven't met Flash Thompson yet.
No.
But we have met Lonnie Lincoln, who becomes Tombstone in the comims. So that was a nice little twist too.
When me and Angela saw it, she thought, "Oh, I'm doing that," and I looked up, I was like, "No, that's Tombstone."
That's Tombstone, right? He's actually in the Spider-Man comics right now. I'm saying he's now, but I'm reading comics from like 2 years ago on
I had
Unlimited.
first appearance, and I traded it.
No, you did not. But anyway, he's a major player in the Marvel underworld right now. Like he basically took the place of Kingpin.
Yeah,
Wilson Fisk, right? So
there's one guy that probably take Fisk in a match.
yeah. Yeah, he like Tombstone is a badass. So whether or not we see Lonnie Lincoln become Tombstone in the series, I don't know. But
I think we're
it'd be
seeing the
very
first
interesting.
steps.
Yeah, everything in this is definitely first steps, right? Because Spider-Man, we see him get his powers. He doesn't really have a major villain yet, even though plenty of seeds have been planted.
His outfit.
Oh,
the
my
tech.
God.
It's just tanks. Like he's raw dogging without shelf stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's still working, but it's just the coordination that he's having to do with this. I'd say that Mr. Future Green Goblin is going to probably be his Tony Stark on that front.
Do you think so? Because we know Stark exists in this universe. Because we've seen an Iron Man, what do you call him? Dice that goes in the car mirrors. We've seen one of those. It's an Iron Man. He's mentioned the Stark Arc reactor a couple times. So
he might be more like the comics, so not as involved with Peter.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking.
Fantastic Four would be cool to see, though.
Yes.
Because Johnny Storm is just across town over Manhattan.
Just across town over Manhattan, and Human Torch and Spider-Man are good friends. Good frenemies? Would that be better to describe them? Frenemies?
No, now it's a bit more, but
yeah.
I seen that one where it was like, he forgot he doesn't live there anymore.
Yeah. Right, so it was definitely, like, the first 2 episodes dropped. It's definitely worth your time to sit down and watch it. And here's the nice thing about this series: it's kid friendly. It's definitely kid friendly. So if you've got a young child, you want to introduce them. If you're a fan of Spider-Man and nothing really seems to have fit up to this point, this is a great series to start them on.
If you like the old school series, the theme's a remix from
Yeah.
You use sound bites directly from.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I was like, there we go. A little bit of harkening back to the 60s series. That's kind of neat. So, no, I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to see where they go with it.
Did you watch Castlevania Nocturne?
No, not yet. No, I'm hamstrung by
Watching partner.
Oh, yeah, exactly. She prefers the tubes of you, so I've got to kind of parse out.
Me and Miss watch all that kind of stuff together, but like other stuff we'll watch on our own. Like I'm watching Shameless right now. I'm on halfway through 7th season.
Right.
And
American version or UK?
American right now, and then I'm going to watch UK. Ambitious, I know, but I'm wondering if she might want to watch Justified, because that's one Walton Goggins and Tim Oliphant. Tim Oliphant's the Marshal.
Yeah.
That one was kind of cool, and Goggins is great in it.
Oh, but he's a fantastic actor anyway. And Righteous Gemstones starts up again in March.
Last
season. So if you're a fan of the Gemstones, they'll be back in March.
Uncle Baby Billy up to his own BS.
God, and
Uncle Baby Billy's bunker was it a bubble bumpers or something like that?
Bible bumpers.
Yeah,
But
it game show.
Uncle Baby Billy's Bible Busters. That's what it was called.
Get out of here, nerd. Go play outside.
But he's really making a name for himself, Walter Goggins is, because he always takes on these quirky, odd roles, and he just nails them.
But he's not defined by one solid character. He's a very immersive actor.
Very. Very. I mean, look, like the Ghoul, he just immersed himself in that. In Vice Principals, he was fantastic.
Yeah, I was just going to say Vice Principals. Him and the kids, the principal's kids together.
I don't know what to...
Him and his mother.
I hated the character, but then he had those moments where it was like, what was that?
No, it's not us. So I hear it knocking. Oh, well.
Is it ghosties?
It goes, maybe.
Well, I mean, we are in the basement of the Glenmalin.
Yeah.
Don't try to convince me this place ain't haunted.
Oh, it probably is. But then again, there are different kind of spirits poured up down here.
This was a different kind of spirits. Yeah, this is where the old
King Henry's
pub was. Yeah. Yeah, and if you're as old as what we are, you remember those nights at the King Henry's pub.
I used to come here in college for cigar parties.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, I mean, I didn't spend a whole lot of time at the King Henry, but I had a few nights here. Right.
This was the upscale bar back then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
or at least I was told.
When we were doing the first couple of conventions here, this is where we had our after parties. We'd come down to the King Henry pub.
I was there for one of them.
We did a screech-in with somebody. Who was it? Oh, Marie Claude. Marie Claude Bourbonnais and her friend. She keeps calling her friend. It's her boyfriend. She just refers to him as her friend. Even online these days, she calls him her grumpy friend. So, okay, whatever. But they came down.
History would say they are the best of friends.
Yes. They came here and we screeched them in. And that was a fun, interesting night. Anyway, got off on a little bit of a tangent there.
But I haven't watched all of Vice Principals yet. That's the other part I got to do the second half of. And then I might watch Eastbound and Down.
Oh, Eastbound and Down is the other one I got to watch. Vice Principals. So have you watched the entire first season?
Most of it.
It's like I'll be honest, I've never been impressed with Danny McBride. I've never enjoyed his work. Then I watched Gemstones, and I'm like, okay, all right, I see the appeal. But Vice Principals, well, just what? Oh, wow! What? Like, he is actually a very, very, very good actor. So I've changed my mind.
The divorced dad trying to just be there for his kid as best he can, all he knows how.
That's all he wanted to do was be there for his kid, right? And it was just so he was just so well done. The family dynamic is strange, but the character plows through. And even though he's a bit of a jackass, he knows the difference between right and wrong, and he's always trying to do the right thing. So. Absolutely, Vice Principals. Number man, finish that series. We got to have a conversation about it. It's great. It's only 2 seasons, so
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I'm about halfway through.
Yeah.
What was the other thing? I've seen Goggins in there not too long. Well, I haven't watched Sons of Anarchy, but I've seen the clips of his character.
Yeah, he did it
great.
He did a very good job in that. He played a transgender woman in that one.
Is that a bruise on your face? Somebody hit you? No, I just cut a branch from a low-hanging part of the family tree.
Right, yeah. So he did that was my first introduction to him, actually. Was when he played, I can't remember the name, I think it was Clarice or something like that. I can't remember the name of the character. And she gets into a relationship with, I can't remember his name.
Kim was his name, plays him.
It's Kim Coates. Kim Coates. Here from another Canadian. Kim Coates plays the character. I cannot remember his name. And I loved Sons of Anarchy so much, and I'm drawing a blank. But that was a whole, little bit of a thread for the entire season, right? One of those sub-threads, and I thought it went on very well.
His character had a whole story.
Yeah.
A son and all that.
I read
up on it. There's a wiki for every show out there, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Kim Coates, you want to watch a good Canadian movie with him? 2 of them? The Goon movies.
Yes. Yeah. Goon 1 and Goon 2, which of course are hockey movies. Definitely, absolutely worth it.
If you haven't seen it, he's basically the coach of what is basically an AHL team.
Oh, okay.
From Halifax.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, see, I knew he was in them. I didn't know the basis of them.
They're sort of based on an American hockey player who got lucky kind of thing and went from a local hockey league being signed directly with an AHL club.
Okay.
And Leif Schreiber plays his, I guess, antagonist in this. He's not really the bad guy. He's just a rival main guy sent down to the NHL, but he's from St. John's. Leif Schreiber plays Newfoundlander in both films. He's in both.
That's pretty good. And then in the X-Men movies, he plays a Canadian as well. Yeah. Sabretooth, obviously.
His brother's Canadian. His brother is the guy from American Gods and Halo.
And Halo, yeah. Yeah. So his brother, Pablo Schreiber, his brother's Canadian, but he's not?
Pablo's born in Richmond or Vancouver or something like that, but he was born down stateside.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I did see how many Canadian threads we're pulling at here tonight. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. But yeah, so there you go. That's more Canadian content for you, right?
Yeah, there hasn't been too much on. We watched Sonic.
You guys haven't started Severance yet, have you? No.
I might try to do that tonight because I don't think anything's going to be on. They're not very long episodes, aren't they? No,
about 35 minutes each. Not super long. No. In the latter half of season 1, they start getting into the 45-minute range. But and I mean, right now season 2's got 3 episodes out, so you got lots of time to catch up. There's only 10 episodes a season.
Season 2, part of a shot right here. Well, South Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's why Ben Stiller, unlike those fake posts on Facebook, oh, such and such celebrity is coming here, blah blah. He actually did, and he came back.
I'd like to know. I wonder if I've seen anything yet that was shot here. Because there are
I try to keep an eye out for that. See, when I was watching Braven today, that was half the reason. I was like, oh, okay, they're up north village. They're up around Cowhead or something like that, it looked like.
Yeah.
Somebody's cabin.
There's been a couple of scenes where one of the characters is driving along a country road, but it's like a completely flat, barren area. And I'm like, I wonder, where would that be? I can't even think. I mean, it could have been the wreck house? I don't know. I have to go back and watch it again.
There's at least a coastal. There's at least a coastal location because there's not a lot of trees.
Right. Well, this
Not a
is
lot
the
of
thing,
coast in Newfoundland because they're all windswept.
Yeah.
Well,
Now that I'm thinking, it might have been the wreck house because she stops on the side of the road and there's a small building off in the distance, like a small house kind of thing. It kind of does remind me of. It could very well have been the wreck house where they filmed.
yeah, I'm going through a list as well, trying to find all these like different things that were just shot here.
Yeah.
There's like there's one that the Grand Seduction. That's the one. I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah. That was another good one. Grand Seduction was very, very good.
And there's like a horror movie that they put out like last year or something like that.
That was shot
Like a
here in
thriller,
Newfoundland?
like a thriller horror kind of thing about like a special mystical girl or something like that.
Really? Oh, I haven't heard anything about this one.
I have to find you a link to send to you. It was it showed up in a trailer thing we were watching. Like, man, that all looks familiar. And you see the province of Newfoundland Labrador seal from like where they would have gotten
Yeah.
subsidy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, must have been made here. Looked it up. It's like, oh yeah.
Wow. Had no idea.
Braven has spotted a couple familiar faces there from here in province. One of them, I'm pretty sure, was started in. Well, I was in VA for a year, and there are some theater arts things. I'm pretty sure he was in theater arts first year when I was in VA first year. He's popped up in Son of a Critch. Trying to remember his name for the life of me. He played the young girl's father.
Oh, yeah. He plays Fox's dad.
Yeah, he went to Grenfell here.
He's also been on Republic of Doyle. He played a police inspector, I think, or something like
He
that.
was
Yeah.
a sheriff in Braven.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he looks very familiar. Like I think I went to Grenfell at roughly the same time he did. So
No, 98. I went till 2000.
So I graduated from Grenville in '98. So yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I know who you're talking about. There's that squealy sound again. More ghosts.
Sounds like a feedback.
It does.
Or spooky booth.
It's yelling
The
at us.
haunted booth.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for somebody to pop around that corner there because I'm looking right into the production studio. Just waiting for someone to pop around the corner there, and I'll be like, "Oh, I just pooped." So, yeah. So
You just gave Lenny an idea to scare the crap out of you.
yeah, I know. I would say, sir, that right now Lenny Benoit is probably tucked away because he does the morning show. I would say he's asleep.
Oh, I'd say he's making his best impression of a chainsaw's exhaust right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh
Without a
my
doubt.
God, I slept so hard yesterday night after snow clearing.
I was supposed to have a relaxing weekend this weekend, and it did not happen. Not a bit.
No?
Not a bit. Well, I had to get up yesterday and clean everything out of the driveway, right? And that took a better part of an hour because I had to go get gas. And yeah, it was just busy running around, of course. And then I had to go buy groceries, and groceries took twice as long as normal because you got to flip the product over now and see if it's made in Canada or
there's a
product.
checklist.
And there is a checklist. There is a checklist. So. And if you've been buried under a rock for the last 24 hours, you have some idea of what I'm talking about. Not getting political. We're just going to leave it there. Leave it there. Buy Canadian. That's all I'm saying. Yep. There was an interesting thread, though, that I followed a little bit this weekend on Twitter. It disappeared. I haven't seen it since probably Thursday evening, Friday morning. And it does relate to geekiness, so I'm kind of in the realm, right, but touching tangentially on politics, world politics. There was a thread going around saying that Captain America would be in support of this administration. Wow, you know nothing about the history of the character, do you? You know nothing about the history of the character.
There's quite a few publications of him that go against that assumption.
Well, go against it. And his creators, I mean, Jack Kirby was a World War II vet, right? Jack Kirby specifically created Captain America to be a symbol of everything that was going on at the time. Again, I don't want to get political. To be a symbol against that. And it continues to be to this day. Look, I'm reading Cap Comics now from the late 90s, early 2000s. The themes that are running through those books, I'm at, like, there was a 76 issue run. I'm on issue 48 or 49. And man, like, the themes that are running through that book, you could literally take that book from the late 90s, early 2000s and plunk it down in 2025 and go, this relates to everything that's going on today.
I'd say around just after Heroes Reborn, Mark Waid started on with Ron Garney. That run?
Yeah, that's
Man
the
Without a
one.
Country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Basically.
I mean, there you go, right? That's the one. You know, actually, no, sorry. I'm incorrect. That one precedes the one that I'm reading right now.
Well, that's what I mean. That one's where he wasn't really Captain America. He was just out doing his thing and then became Cap once more because he had that like holographic shield and all that stuff.
That's in the series that I'm reading now. Yeah, it was started by it was definitely Mark Waid. Andy Kubert is the artist. Actually, Ron Garney started. Andy Kubert took over. And now the arc that I'm in now, Dan Jurgens and Art Thibert are.
Again.
It's getting mad with us. Are the artistic team? So.
I'm sinking. I'm looking at the monitor because this chair keeps...
Yeah, mine's going down too. So.
I gotta fix it. I gotta fix this. I don't know what's going on. This chair's just bugging me.
There you go.
I feel like I'm not at the kids' table anymore.
There you go.
Give me high chair now. Yeah, because the Ron Garney thing was him and Sharon went off and he didn't have a shield, so she got in this like thing, and then later on, I think his shield got busted or something, and he had the holographic shield or something.
He lost it at the bottom of the Atlantic.
Yes.
He lost it at the bottom of the Atlantic. That's an interesting one because he loses it, gets the
old school one,
the old school shield,
the diamond
shaped one. Then what the hell is this going on over here?
Sounds like the old CB radio where you said.
No, over here. Look, the camera is doing a screen.
Oh wow, yeah.
Who's controlling? I bet you that's Cody.
Nah, Cody's having like a corner work right now, getting homesick.
That's what he's doing. So he loses the shield at the bottom of the North Atlantic. They can't find it, obviously. Sharon Carter, via Tony Stark, gets him a plasma shield that he can, right? And he's learning how to use that. And Iron Man actually, War Machine actually finds his shield. And as soon as you bring it to the surface, it shatters.
Yeah.
And it's because, see if we can follow technobabble on this now. It's because years ago, his shield had been shattered.
Yeah.
And when it got put back together by, I think it's mystical means, one molecule was out of alignment. So it operated on a different vibranium frequency, right? Because it operated on that frequency, over the years, the more he used it, the more frail and brittle it got.
Yeah, and being down that in crushing depths,
it breaks.
It came back up. Yeah,
it breaks. But because it breaks, it gets this what they term a vibranium cancer.
Oh,
so anything made of vibranium, which is all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s equipment, all of Stark's equipment, everything from Wakanda, everything that the Fantastic Four has, this vibrational frequency would spread out, and anything it touched, it would destroy.
Yeah,
right. Anyway,
sounds like Antarctic vibranium.
It's very similar to Antarctic vibranium, which of course
anti-metal.
Yeah, it's anti-metal, right? You can't put it anywhere near any type of metal, or it will dissolve.
We actually have anti-metals.
Do we really?
Yeah. What's the one? Then there's this chemistry guy shows up on my feed a lot, and try to remember what it is. You can play with it in your hand and everything. It's not like mercury or anything, but it's like mercury where it's like very liquid. Barium, I think it is, and you throw it on top of like something like steel, and the steel starts to get crumbly. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think it's barium. I've seen people put that stuff on laptops.
Yeah,
and the laptop crumbles, and I'm like, why did you just do that?
Breaks down the molecular bonds.
Yep.
At the molecular level,
the world is full of weird, wild stuff, man. That's one of them right there.
Yeah. Speaking of Captain America, the other day, I was on the site that I use to read them sometimes, and I thought to myself, there's this one Captain America comic. I only got to read part of a story. It was a full issue, but like it leaves on a cliffhanger, and it was the one where he's like a kid, like he got de-aged or whatever.
Okay.
And apparently the cliffhanger, he kills the girl that was with him or something like that. She kills the girl, whatever, one of the ones. Turns out it was all... But I read the next issue, and this is like at least 30 years later. Finally got it, and I have the issue at the house, not the new one, the one afterwards I had to read online. It was all fake out. Oh, she used her mind powers to make him think, blah, blah. I was like, oh, yeah, that was disappointing after 30 years.
Yeah, right.
And she's just packed off in the paddy wagon with her friends afterwards. Sister Malice or something like that?
Oh, Sister Malice, yes. Yeah. One of Red Skull's minions.
Yeah, she wears like that red chainmail, like balaclava looking thing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but I read that, I was like, wah. So disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm reading, keeping up on, so I still got to get back to reading Absolute Batman and Absolute Superman and Absolute Wonder Woman. I got to read the latest ones. It's pretty good.
Without a doubt, from what I understand, like the other two Absolutes, Superman and Wonder Woman, are kind of sales-wise.
Batman is just like...
Batman's just tearing the charts up. Just absolutely wrecking the charts.
He's like, wasn't even Reacher.
Yeah.
He's just great. Big, just like Coke machine with legs.
Yeah, and Alan Richardson has said he wants to play Batman, and I'm all for it.
Well, if he was playing like the Absolute version, especially, oh lordy!
Even if he's a Dark Knight-ish as opposed to like campy Batman, right?
I said that the part where, as well, the part where in Section 31, where they're fighting on the elevator thing, and she falls off. But she uses her cloak. She uses her cloak a lot.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, she's like Absolute Batman.
Yeah.
Because that's his cape is like that. It has like different like sharp points at the end, and it can be used like like Spider-Man whips and stuff like that, and everything. You can climb with it and that. But I was like, oh, she's like Absolute Batman. It's like,
have the Absolute characters crossed over at all yet?
They're not yet, but they plan on doing it because the whole thing is, and they've already come out and said the Absolute universe is where Darkseid's managed to remove hope and everything else that can counteract the anti-life equation.
Oh.
Yeah. Their universe is literally another universe, like the others in the multiverse, but he's removed all hope. At the same time, the multiverse is there, but they've no access is blocked off. Everybody's stuck on Prime Earth.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this is all the fallout from All In.
Okay.
And all that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, they're locked out. So it's gonna be a big thing with Darkseid because Darkseid's merged all of his forms now.
So it all, like the whole multiverse thing with the DC universe always fascinates me because it was something that they did, I mean, decades ago. Not even decades ago, like 50, 60 years, like a very, very long time, 50 years at least.
The first confirmation of a multiverse was the Superboy stories in the late 40s. Retroactively Earth 1.
Okay.
Superboy's Earth 1. There was never Earth 2 Superboy.
Right.
And more in 1955 showcase or whatever with the Flash 2 Worlds.
Right.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. It's like 70 years or so.
But DC kind of has a history of doing things with the multiverse and slacking back on them and doing things with it again and then slack. And I kind of see what they're doing where like they've had a hard time, from what I recall, maintaining continuity. Like you look at things like the Crisis on Infinite Earths, 0 Hour, things like this. Crisis on what was the other one? Crisis on Multiple Earths, Crisis on Infinite Earths,
and Infinite Crisis,
Final Crisis, all the crises.
Yeah. And even Flashpoint was technically one.
Flashpoint was technically one.
Some of them, what they do is editorially, what they're doing is they're consolidating all the different IPs. That's what happened with Crisis. They want to put everything on the first Crisis, everything on the same Earth, because before that, like Shazam was on one world.
Yes.
The Charlton characters were on another.
Yes.
All this stuff, and then later on they realized it's kind of crippling them because that was actually their richness, was all these different worlds and all these different interpretations. Right. That's why they got after Rebirth they came out with I forget what they call it.
Death Metal?
After Death Metal, and that because they restored all of the multiverses, even the old ones, even the pre-Crisis multiverse as it was. Oh. And the whole thing, the hands that built everything within the source wall, the multiverse and all that stuff, they restored everything.
Okay.
So they even restored like the pre-1985 Superman of Tomorrow universe kind of thing.
Okay.
The old Earth 1 and Earth 2 stuff. It's all anything that's happened has happened and can happen again. So if somebody wants to do a Batman arc based around like the late 70s or do a Super Sons miniseries or something like that, oh yeah.
Okay.
Like the old sideburns and all this stuff and everything.
Really?
Yeah, it's all on the table.
It's all on the table. Do you're the DC guy, do you think that it's too much?
No.
No?
Because You don't have to keep track of it all if you don't want to. You can just like Batman stuff and just like that. Or you could just like old stuff. But you can still keep up on the new stuff. I've had to abridge some of my reading for some of the new stuff. Like Death Metal was a big read, so I just kind of did the Cliff's Notes and some of the big things. But if you understand the old stuff, the new stuff, especially with the multiverse, makes sense.
Okay. I never read Death Metal.
Yeah.
What is it? Another universe? Is it like what is it?
So basically, it was that the multiverse came back, and then there's all these other things where there's these players that were around that you didn't realize from even the first Crisis and stuff like that, like the Monitor and Anti-Monitor. They had names; they never had names in the first Crisis, and you learn that the Monitors and they're just siblings of other people too, like the World Forger and stuff like that. All the people that made existence within the Source Ball.
Right.
There's other things out without and things like that too. This is just one corner of existence with the Presence and the God Sphere and Apocalypse and all this stuff and everything. And basically, it's not even the first version. So as all these versions change because the people within are causing changes, after a while, people who were involved in the direct making of all everything within got involved to try to make it again, and we're being influenced by others and yada yada. And then you got the alternate versions of Batman and the Batman who laughs, and then he gets Dr. Manhattan's power because that was all in the mix from Rebirth, because Watchmen is now part of the multiverse.
Watchmen is now part of the multiverse, yeah.
And
much to Alan Moore's chagrin.
And then all these different things, basically, like Identity Crisis happened that led into Infinite Crisis. It's the same thing, like, but instead of it being Gene Loring, is Wally West when he got the power of Dr. Manhattan. So he's the Flash, but he's also the same power set as Dr. Manhattan now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was like a whole thing, because like there was this whole where a bunch of heroes got killed and all this stuff, but everything reset and went back. They had to fight like those that amassed more power because they were taking on power of others from other universes and stuff like that, like the Batman who laughs.
Oh, okay.
He became godlike. He became a god essentially, right? And
okay.
Superboy Prime at one point was the one who had to like take him on.
Right. And Superboy Prime, he was the main antagonist of Infinite Crisis?
Yeah.
Right.
One of them, yeah. But yeah, and everything reset afterwards. And in the end, basically, good wins and details aren't necessary, but the ones that recreated everything as they were bringing down all the shattered stuff, but putting it back. Basically, all the backups got restored. All the backups got restored.
Gotcha. So it was like a hard reboot.
Hard reboot of the big computer, and all the backups got restored at once. Gotcha. They're all running side by side.
Okay.
There's Multiverse 1, Multiverse 2, because the thing about Death Metal, there were dying and dead and crumbling multiverses.
Right.
They were all, like the Death Metal stories that were out, they're all from versions where things went wrong. The Dark Multiverse, where things always go wrong.
Right.
And that's where the Batman Who Laughs came from. There's a bunch of different Batmen who are all Bruce Wayne from different things. There's even a Bruce Wayne that took Zarnian DNA and became Lobo.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, there's a panel of that floating around.
God, okay.
People are like, how does that even happen? It's like, that's probably when Lobo could still like regrow himself from a drop of blood, and it just took over Bruce's body because he talks like him, smokes cigars, hair, but he's in the Batman suit.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
See,
Some
now
of the things they do are just for laughs.
I'm intrigued on that one.
Yeah, just look it up. Lobo, Batman as Lobo. Or
Batman as Lobo. Okay.
But basically, yeah, everything's just restored now, and you can go back and tell any tale you want.
That's ingenious.
Yeah,
right. Because you can reach back.
It doesn't limit them editorially anymore.
Yeah, that's really, really smart.
That's kind of what they're doing with the movies too. That whole the new DC Studios stuff. That's like Matt Reeves' Batman, or apparently they haven't killed the Black Superman series, but that's going to be another Elseworlds now.
Okay.
Sandman got canned.
I saw, but that got canned more due to what's going on with Neil Gaiman right now.
But it also uncomplicates things for DC because that's a DC property.
Yep.
That's not creator owned. Right. He has royalty rights too, but yeah, but
and that was brought about by Netflix, right? Netflix said, we're walking away from this. Yeah, and
they tried to say, well, we don't really have much material after this and such. You got a ton of material.
Sandman's got a lot of material.
Yeah, like even season 1 could have been stretched over 4 seasons.
Oh, easy. There was a lot of stuff in that felt way too compacted.
They cut a lot of stuff down and redacted a lot of stuff. Like I said, like 2 of the characters, like their dynasties.
Yep.
Wonder Woman's daughter and Hawkman and Hawkwoman's son having a baby together.
Yep.
Along with the whole reason what Daniel's way is, he's the mixture of lineages of gods and reincarnation, Egyptian curses, His father's born without a soul, and all this stuff like that. It's all supposed to mix into when Daniel becomes the new Dream.
Right.
But they said, no, we're just going to do it in this one tiny thing. But also along with it, a lot of stuff will only run 2 seasons now. That's the minimum they want to invest, because then they can just throw it out and syndicate it somewhere.
Yep.
2 seasons is the minimum for syndication.
Yep. That's all they got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with DC, though, they can separate Elseworld stuff from other stuff. And so here's your main stuff, like Superman and Supergirl, Worlds, is it? No, Brave and the Bold. That's the one, Robin, and it's going to be Damian Wayne, Robin. Yep. So in any case, there's going to be a Nightwing and a Red Hood and that, I guess, bouncing around. They said they're making this as close to the comics as possible, because none of their IPs that they need are constrained by being under license for anyone else.
Right.
This is all in-house now. Everything else you saw on TV, that's technically third party. They're all made under license. Sandman's made under license. There's a different production company and all that stuff. Like, it's Warner Brothers Television, but that's the distributor.
Yes. The
production, Greg Berlanti, that was all licensed out and made up in Vancouver and stuff like that, but now it's all in-house. It's all DC Studios.
So, that's actually really smart. Again, like I said earlier,
no constraints.
What they're doing is smart, but I have to wonder, like, for the ratings game, is it too late? Do you think?
Well, I mean, cable TV in and of itself, people don't really worry so much. It's just like a subscription and views.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking of, right? Like subscription and views, and not just that, like motion pictures. There it is again. It sounds like a farting duck.
Yeah.
But motion pictures, right? Like, is DC, like, we're already facing the whole superhero fatigue thing, right? And don't get me wrong, I love these movies, but even I'm like, you need to take a break.
But sometimes it is the fact that nothing's been refreshed. Marvel, the whole thing is stuff kind of snowballed on it. Yep. And then corporate got involved, and we need this artificial visibility in order to make us look good on our stock returns. Not commenting on actual visibility, that's great. But some companies do better than others because they're not doing it as an obligation to shareholders.
Right. Yep. They're doing it for creative purposes. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what I mean. Like, and Marvel stagnated, and James Gunn was one of the only ones during that generation. Not praising him up, just saying, like, Guardians 3, there was no studio involvement. Yeah, it was just let me tell my story.
Yeah, and it did fantastic.
Yeah, that's the role of DC Studios apparently. Let us tell the stories.
Let us tell the stories. Like you can look at properties and tell which ones are being interfered with by studios, right? Like, you can even look at stuff like, as much as I liked it, She-Hulk, you could tell that was probably way too much studios exec involvement there, right? So Hawkeye, another one. They left it alone. They told the story. It was fantastic.
Daredevil, they had to redo most all the new season coming up this month because there's just too much that was involved that wasn't on their end, that was dictated by the studios, and it just wasn't working. They had to throw out like 55% of what they had and work from there. I know.
It's like thing is barking at us.
Yeah. Sounds like a duck.
Yeah. There's a barking duck.
That's out this month too, coming, I think.
No, March 4th, I think it starts.
Yeah. Soon.
Yeah. Really looking forward to that. Like, I cannot wait to see these characters back in action.
We might try to go out and see Captain America 4.
If we get it.
If we get it, yeah. I said, now it's supposed to be like one of those main titles they might try pushing to make sure one he's made. Yeah. This isn't quite like Ant-Man, where Ant-Man was like...
Yeah.
That could have been Disney Plus.
Yeah, Ant-Man, definitely. All three of them could have been Disney Plus. Captain America: Brave New World, I think... Man, it's going to be a tough sell for a lot of people. Where, like, everybody likes Chris Evans as Steve Rogers as Captain America. You know, like, getting into having Sam Wilson as Captain America, for anybody who doesn't understand the storyline from the comics and the relationship between Falcon and Captain America, it's going to be a bit of a tough sell. Yeah, it's going to be a tough sell, right? And that's just the way it is, right? Like, you kind of got to have a feel for where they're going with with this particular movie. Everybody expected Bucky to be the next Cap. In the comics, he was. In the movies, he's not going to be. He's going to be his own thing.
Right up to Sam.
Yeah, right. They bypassed Bucky and went right to Sam. Sam was Cap in the comics. I think he still is, actually.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm wondering if it's going to lead into Thunderbolts a bit better.
I have a feeling. I got a feeling we're going to see something from Brave New World in leading into Thunderbolts.
I wonder if we're gonna get to see a certain industrialist pop up, benefactor of the Thunderbolts back in the day.
Oh, Norman Osborn.
Yeah, the Iron Patriot.
That would be interesting. That would definitely be a twist. That would be a twist for sure.
Somebody goes on record saying apparently they're playing nice with Marvel when it comes to needing stuff. I think this is why they're trying to make the best of what's left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another one apparently. An unnamed Sony Marvel project got axed the other day.
Got axed?
Yeah, it was in development.
Well, I mean,
it didn't have a name. It was probably wouldn't develop very much.
No. Sony has just fumbled the ball. Let's be realistic. Sony has fumbled the Spider-Man ball.
Yeah. Don't say balls.
No. But
yeah.
No.
they're, like all the stuff that Marvel does Spider-Man now, that's Marvel doing it with Sony licensing the rights back.
Yep.
Trying to think. Zombies is this year, isn't it?
Marvel Zombies is this year.
Okay.
Eyes of Wakanda, I think, is sometime this fall. So I'm more interested in Zombies than I am Eyes of Wakanda. And don't get me wrong, like the character of Black Panther was never really one of my favorites growing up. Absolutely a great character, just I don't know, not.
I like the Zombies comics.
The Marvel Zombies stuff was
as a
fantastic.
story just unto itself, they're going to do it like because they were kind of crazy and zany. They weren't totally serious either.
No.
Right? They were very much like kind of like throwing a bit of satire at the same time and like let's wrap it up in the zombie thing. They even got a nice little crossover with Ash Williams.
Yep.
Did you read that one?
No, I don't think I have read that one yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, like even the Marvel Zombies, like it gets kind of interesting because I believe the Marvel Zombies were first introduced in Ultimate Fantastic Four by the Sentry.
Yeah.
The Sentry crossed over from another dimension, and he had the Marvel virus, or the zombie virus.
Ash vs. Evil Dead suggests that he was contaminated by the Necronomicon, the book written in blood down in human flesh.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that crossover suggests it was Necronomicon incursion.
Yeah.
But yeah, the boys ended up being like eating Galactus or something.
Yep, they ate Galactus.
They're all heralds.
They ate Galactus and all became heralds or all got part of his power. Yeah.
Was it Iron Man had no legs at the end? Which one did?
Iron Man had no legs. Spider-Man, I think, had no body.
Yeah.
Captain America had no top of his head. Or Commander America. Colonel America.
Because they tried to scoop his brain out or something.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Wolverine.
quite graphic.
Wolverine's a member.
Well,
isn't he just a torso?
So his adamantium
was stronger than his flesh.
Than his flesh. So he went to use his claws, and when he struck what he was striking, his flesh just
peeled off.
Just sloughed off. Sloughed off, that's the word. Right off his adamantium bones because he couldn't hold on to it because his flesh was so rotten.
Which sucks because he's got a healing factor.
Yeah.
You'd think that would have helped him out.
Yeah, you would think so.
But no. But I do want to see if they do anything like that.
Yep.
It looks fun.
I kind of hope they don't make it, because we've already seen the Marvel Zombies in the first season of What If. I kind of really hope they don't make them, what am I trying to say? Brains. You know what I mean? Like, they don't talk or anything, like they're traditional George Romero. Yeah. Yeah, right? So if they go along the lines of the comic book series where they're communicating and talking and, They introduced one aspect of zombieism in the Marvel Zombies, that when the zombies feed, they actually return to their humanity a little bit. Yeah. Right? So it's kind of interesting, like when Spider-Man devoured Aunt May and Mary Jane, he sat there and cried because he realized what he had done. Right?
There's something else announced, though, too. Another series. And I can't remember what it was. See, I should write this down, but I never have paper and pen near me anymore. We're in the
you got a phone
age.
doing notes.
I never remember my notes. But
I got to say, I don't either. So.
No. There's been a lot more stuff coming out from that bankruptcy with Diamond, though. A lot more. Yeah. A lot more people getting named in, like, of debts of companies owed money to the point where it might put IDW out of business.
Companies owed money from Diamond?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. There's creditors, there's secure creditors, which means the bankruptcy case, that's who in court lawfully is listed as people owed money to. Unsecured creditors are ones besides that aren't listed.
Right.
And IDW, I can't remember if they're unsecured or secured, but there's enough debt that it might wipe IDW out.
Really?
Yeah. And there's speculations IDW might not fare so good from this because I think that was their only, they were their only real distributor at that point.
Yep, they were. Because Marvel has gone with Penguin.
Yep.
And doesn't DC have their own?
I'm pretty sure that
DC and Image are going through the same company, which is owned by DC, I think.
Oddly enough, at one point, Diamond was owned by DC.
Right.
But they sold them years ago.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm trying to remember the name. There's a name for DC and Image goes through.
Yeah.
But yeah, Diamond, a lot of people owed like $250,000, $500,000, stuff like this. Like
that's crazy.
Even Penguin Random House themselves are owed money by Diamond.
Wow.
Yeah, they're one of the secure creditors, I think.
Yeah, and Diamond was the big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond was the big boy on the block. Like you did not order comics or collectibles unless you went through Diamond, and now you can go through pretty much.
Anybody you want?
Well, you got to have a couple different. Like I said, like Marvel goes through Penguin, DC goes through. God, what's the name of the company? Lunar. Yeah, Lunar Distributing. So does Image. So I mean,
anybody's anybody.
You know, that's gonna be rough.
Titan was another one. They were named as an unsecured creditor.
Wow.
I'm trying to think. There's like a handful of them that are just they can shoulder it, but they said like, yeah, still gonna be rough.
Gonna be rough.
IDW IDW doesn't have the Hasbro stuff anymore.
Yep.
They used to actually do stuff for Marvel for YA. At one point, they were also publishing stuff for like the Hanna-Barbera characters.
And wasn't IDW publishing Marvel art books?
Yeah.
Right, like the art of Jack Kirby, the art of Todd McFarlane, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, there's the Miles Morales series, which was still given the Marvel name, but you see like IDW written in the bottom.
Yep.
Yep. So they're making on behalf of Marvel.
Yep.
But that's most of their bread and butter was licensed works.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad. You talk about them not having the Hasbro license anymore. They've moved over to a company called Skybound,
who is the same guy who created Invincible,
and The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman. Yep. And apparently, like from what I understand,
it's doing gangbusters. Well, basically, they've made the shared GI Joe universe with them, but as well like story is happening differently. Like that whole image people see online, and he's got Optimus Prime. Lost his arm, so he took Megatron's with the cannon. He's driving around, it's kind of like hanging off.
Yeah.
In truck mode. And his arm stuck off with the cannon.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn cool.
But they've even we've only got a couple of minutes left here, so
Void Rivals was the first.
Void Rivals was the first one where they kind of interconnected everything and made what's called the Energon universe.
Yeah. You only learn about at the end.
At the end, there's a Transformer. I haven't read it yet, but after listening to he did a podcast with Rob Liefeld last week, and I gotta read this stuff. The artist on Transformers, Daniel Warren Johnson, apparently is just kicking ass.
Yeah, a lot of his art shows up in my feed on Instagram.
Yeah,
people sharing their artwork. It looks great.
Yeah. Oh, it looks fantastic. Looks absolutely fantastic. I've always been more of a G.I. Joe fan.
Yeah.
Growing up, and apparently the G.I. Joe series, they did it kind of the same way that Marvel did stuff with the MCU. Like they introduced each character.
About this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us or send us your feedback through social media. You're watching Rogers TV.
Are you low on food? Struggling to pay the bills? Overwhelmed by life's challenges? When you need support but don't know where to turn, just dial 211. 211 connects you to the programs or services near you.
211, how can I help you?
211, help starts here.
Missing your favorite channels? Get them on Rogers Xfinity TV.
Yeah, baby! 3, 2, 1.
I will do whatever it takes to win.
I'm gonna get you your dream house here.
Is there a crocodile in there?
Oh my gosh.
Oh God, oh God.
Oh my God.
hockey, the ice tilts in favor of men. But that will never stop us.
United by passion, battling for equity. We are the National Women's Para-Hockey Team of Canada.
We're here.
We're hungry.
We're ready.
Ready to inspire.
Ready to